welcome to Stender Thoughts. Recently I've been receiving from friends and from students all sorts of reports about how a CEO could be more effective. And one thread of idea throughout has been the CEO has to be happy. If the CEO is happy, then those who work with him or her, they'll be happy, and then that will trickle down to the customers. Bottom line gets better. Investors are happy. And then, of course, the CEO once again becomes happy. And while I have a tendency, kind of a Litvische tendency to dismiss this, thinking about the holidays and thinking about what would Maimonides say, it occurred to me that one should look within that book of the Mishnah Torah, his great opus of Jewish law. We're in the midst of the preparation and involvement within the holiday of Sukkot. And the holiday of Sukkot is the time of happiness. V'samachta b'chagecha. You shall delight and have rejoicing and happiness in your holiday. And at the very end of the laws that he talks about of all the holidays, he refers to this rejoicing during the holidays, especially on Sukkot. And he talks about a new institution created, as it were, almost by the people. And that was the institution of Simchat Beit HaShoeva, the rejoicing of the pouring of the water. It was kind of a popular holiday that took place after the first day, every night of the intermediate days, in which all sorts of people, we'll come back to that, would get into the temple courtyard and they would have the time of their lives. They would clap, they would shout, they would sing, they would dance, they'd play the harp, the flute, the lyre, they would juggle. They would juggle with flaming torches. It was a fantastic time. The Samachta b'chagecha was a time of rejoicing. And the Rambam refers to this rejoicing by a very interesting term. And the term he uses is avodah gedolah. This is a great service to the Lord. And you know the word avodah means service. Avodah also means work. Avodah is what you're supposed to be doing at the time, and the word avodah as service is what, of course, the great priest, the Kohen Gadol, the senior priest, did on Yom Kippur. We just came off of Yom Kippur, and the entire Musaf service talks about what he had accomplished. This also, this rejoicing before God, this rejoicing of dancing and clapping and somersaulting and singing, this is also called an avodah. In fact, it's called the great service. Who does this service? Well, according to the Rambam, this service is done not just, or in fact not really by the Am Ha'aretz, by the general population, but it's done by the heads of the Yeshivot, the heads of the Sanhedrin. It's done by the great judges. It's done by the Hasidim, the pious ones. It's done by Anshe Masa, the people of great actions, who do great actions of social justice and of welfare of others. In fact, according to the Rambam, this is done by those people, and everyone else watches them. Now, we've come to a point in our Jewish practice that even on Yom Kippur service, it's not only a Kohen Gadol. We don't have a high priest anymore. It's been delegated out, and whoever leads the service, as it were, acts in a certain form like the high priest. And in many of the services, especially in Jerusalem, everyone gets into the act. Almost any of the good services on Yom Kippur in Jerusalem are sung by everyone. Of course, the leader of the service is very important, but there's this great desire for participation. On Simchat Torah, when we, and all the other times during the Sukkot holiday, Simchat Beit HaShoeva, when we have holiday time in which we sing, in which we dance, everyone sings and dances. There's very few people who just stand and look. But there's something within this Rambam which I believe is very important. It's kind of retro, but it's of incredible importance. That is that a leader, to be a true leader, must be able to radiate that kind of happiness in the service of God. And those who gather around teachers, those who gather around rabbis who instruct, those who gather around the pious ones who may have no title, those who gather around Anshe Masa, people who do great acts of social concern, who our laity, those people gathered around them, need to watch the leaders and need to see that the leaders have a capacity for happiness in the avodah gedolah, in this great service that they do. This is really talking about authenticity. This is really talking about not the bottom line in terms of financial accomplishment, but this is really talking about the bottom line in terms of the heart. And if the heart can manifest avodah gedolah, can manifest a great service of simcha, of complete happiness, well then we're all involved in that great work. We should enjoy this holiday. We should go to avodah, we should go to our service. We should be able to go to the work. That is the work of celebrating the holiday, v'samachta b'chagecha. I wish you all a wonderful holiday. Chag Sameach.